Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about setting up your guitar, but more specifically, the action of your guitar, which is the height of your strings. In order to get the most out of your guitar, you need to set it up properly. Without setting it up properly, you're going to get a lot of fret buzz. You're not going to be able to do all your little sweepity sweep things way up high up on the neck. Things aren't just going to sound right. If this is your first time, do not fear. I'll give you a step-by-step. It's actually pretty simple, but just don't do what I did, which is set your action way too low where you get fret buzz even on open strings. Yeah, that's not good. You basically want to find a happy medium. Me personally, I like to get my action as low as possible to where there's no fret buzz whatsoever. A lot of people are different. They like a high action if you're using a lot of slide guitar, and if you're a shredder, you kind of want a low action. Now, the fret buzz sounds like this. Now, while as the strings went higher in pitch, it wasn't as prominent, but the lower strings were extremely buzzy. While this doesn't translate over recordings very well, what does translate is how long your notes will ring out. So if you have a very high gain amp, or you have a sound that you know should just ring out for a very long time, if your action's too low and you have a lot of fret buzz, then what basically happens, or string buzz, is that note will choke out. And because of the frets hitting up against the strings, they won't allow the strings to vibrate the way they should as long as they can. Now, this is a string through body, which basically means I put the strings in through the back of the body, out through the front. This does not have any kind of floating bridge or a tremolo bar, tremolo arm, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have any of that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is pretty simple. So on each part of the string, this is called a saddle. Each saddle has 2 screws. The very first thing that you need to understand is that this saddle can actually shift left and shift right. So you need to make sure that as you lower this or raise the saddle, that both ends are going up and down the same amount. You don't want to have a saddle that's crooked because you'll break strings, and then also you'll have a hard time keeping those strings in tune. One way you can check this is by looking down the bottom through the guitar and making sure that each string is absolutely straight. If the saddle is off a little bit, the string will look like it's shooting to the left or shooting to the right. You don't want to see that. You want to see a nice straight line. Whatever eye you're using, use it like you're shooting a gun. One eye open, one eye closed, and you want to look right down. Whatever eye you're using with your eye open, you want to get behind each individual string. You want to make sure that they are perfectly straight, just like that. So basically what's happening is I'm taking my low E string, I'm looking right down it. It is straight. Now my A string, it's straight. D string, straight. G string, straight. B string, straight. I guess I could probably straighten that up a hair. E string, straight. So all my strings are straight. So now all I need to do is focus on making sure when that saddle goes up, because my action is too low, as my saddle goes up, I need to make sure that I do even amount of rotations on those screws that we talked about already on each side. So for example, I'm going to start with a quarter turn on each side. Simple as that. Now keep in mind, as you rotate these screws, your strings will go out of tune. So I recommend doing a quarter turn to a half turn and then retuning. Because if you have a string that is too loose and you think the action is good and then you go to tune it up, it may not be the same story after it's tuned up. I'm going to be using this cruise toolkit. As you can see, I added a few extra things on there, but the most important thing that you'll need is an Allen key, or whatever tool you need for your specific bridge. In my case, an Allen key. What I like about this cruise toolkit is that it's got everything I need, every single size for all of my guitars. A little overpriced, but is it really overpriced if it's exactly what I need? Ever since buying this, I haven't needed to buy anything else. So as you rotate this, you want to make sure, again, that you're doing the same amount of turns on each side of that screw so that the saddle doesn't get uneven at all. You want that saddle to stay flat and rise together or lower together depending on what you need for your action. All right, so there's my E string. Like I said, let's go ahead and tune up. We kept it straight, and we are still a little buzzy there. Okay, I'm just doing half turns at this point, but one thing that I am doing every single time is that I'm making sure that this string stays absolutely straight so that it helps me in the long run. So I don't know if you can hear it or not, but this string buzzing is going away, but there's still string buzz. Me personally, I like it as low as possible, without string buzz, of course. So when you start digging into it as well, you also want to make sure that there's no fret buzz. So right now, as you tune, I'm barely getting any fret buzz, right? But when I dig into it, a lot of fret buzz still. So, got to keep going. Also, keep in mind, whenever you do this and you're done, you might need to set the intonation again. So I will say, one thing that I was having trouble with this guitar specifically was the squeals, and I was like, why is this a problem when I literally have EMGs in this thing, right? Well, there's still a little bit of fret buzz, but like I said, I like it as low as possible to where I can still comfortably get. Still a little bit of fret buzz, but like I said, I like it as low as possible to where I can still comfortably let those notes sing out, get the pinch harmonics nice, loud, and just fluid. As I said before, it didn't come across in recording. What would come across is the fact that notes would choke out sooner than they should, and pinch harmonics just sounded kind of dead and really dull. I hope you learned something. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments down below, but I think the string buzzing thing is an issue that a lot of people don't really hear about or learn about. People just like, oh yeah, take your guitar and just get it set up, when really, ideally, you can set your own guitar up in your own house to your own specs, really, to your own preference. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, let me play some music. What are we at? Let's just try this one. I mean, this is always a goodie.